Hello everyone. Now today we will see how to predict the geometry and hybridization of any given molecule. So first we will calculate the total electron pairs, and then based on the number of lone pairs and bond pairs present, we will identify the geometry and the hybridization. So first let us understand that what is the regular geometry. Based on the total number of electron pairs that we get, we define the hybridization and give the geometry to a particular molecule. So if we get the total number of electron pairs is equal to 2, then it gives a sp type of hybridization with a regular geometry linear. Similarly, if total electron pairs are 3, we know it gives sp2 hybridization with trigonal planar geometry. For 4, sp3 hybridization, tetrahedral geometry. 5, sp3d, trigonal bipyramidal geometry. For 6 electron pairs, the regular geometry is octahedral with sp3d2 hybridization, and for total number of electron pairs 7, we get sp3d3 hybridization, and pentagonal bipyramidal is the regular geometry. Now we need to understand first that there is a difference between the regular geometry that we should get and the shape that we get. If we consider the regular geometry depends only on the number of bond pairs of electrons. If lone pairs are present, the geometry gets distorted. That means we get some other shape of the molecule. The regular geometry should be this one based on the bond pairs, but because of the lone pairs present, the repulsion of electrons is created, and hence the geometry gets distorted. So it gives another shape. Say for example, methane molecule, if we consider, we have a tetrahedral geometry with sp3 hybridization of methane. We know this, right? If we take ammonia molecule, ammonia has again sp3 hybridization, so its geometry should be tetrahedral, but because of the presence of one lone pair, it gives a pyramidal shape. Water molecule, we have sp3 hybridization, so its regular geometry is tetrahedral, but because of the presence of two lone pairs on water molecule, we get bent shape or angular shape, or we say it is a V-shaped structure. So now let us understand first what we mean by a steric number. Steric number is defined as the total number of atoms bonded to central atom plus the total number of lone pairs that are attached to central atom. So in all, we say the steric number gives the total number of atoms that are bonded to the central atom plus the number of lone pairs that are attached to the central atom. For calculating the steric number, we will be using two methods which gives the number, and based on which we can determine the hybridization, the geometry, or the shape of the molecule. So first method we see, steric number can be calculated as first method, or first trick you can say. This calculation we can do based on which, this is not the identification of a geometry and shape using the regular we write the atomic number and all that. This is just the small trick or formula we use to determine the total number of atoms bonded and total number of lone pairs present. So based on the total number we get, that we call it as the steric number, we can identify the regular geometry and if the lone pairs are present. So first method we see is steric number is equal to half into V plus M minus C plus A. Okay. Now here V, what is V? V is the total number of valence electron on central atom. So we will be calculating here, we will be taking the total valence electrons on the central atom. M is the number of monovalent atoms that are attached to the central atom. So number of monovalent atoms that are attached to central atoms, only monovalent atom we will be considering here, minus C. Now C is the cation, C is for cation, that is if any positive charge is present, that is number of positive charges, that is to be subtracted, plus charge NH4 plus, so minus 1, 1 less electron, and A is number of negative charges present, or we say anion. So this is VMCA method, using which we will be able to predict the hybridization and the geometry. Using this method, we will be able to predict the hybridization and geometry of the molecule. Okay. So we can say that we will not be able to identify the number of lone pairs present. We will get here only the hybridization and the regular geometry of a given molecule. We will take few examples based on this. One more thing, this trick is not applicable when it has more than one central atom. Okay, like S4O6. So it is applicable only for the molecules having one central atom. So examples we take BF3, calculating the steric number for BF3. First thing is we require the valence electron present on the central atom. Central atom here is boron. Boron atomic number is 5. So central atom has 3 electrons, right? So we write 3 plus number of monovalent atoms attached. Fluorine is a monovalent atom. It has one coordination site, one valency. So 3 fluorine atoms are attached, minus number of cations present, no any positive charge, no any negative charge. So 3 plus 3, 6, divide by 2, that is 3. Steric number is 3, meaning it is sp2 hybridization, and we know that sp2 hybridization means geometry is trigonal planar. Fine. So we have BF3 is this way. BF3 is trigonal planar. Okay. Let us take one more example. Ammonia, NH3. Calculating the steric number first. So steric number is equal to half into nitrogen. Valence electrons present on nitrogen. Atomic number is 7. 7 means 2 and 5. So valence electrons 5. 5 plus number of monovalent atoms attached. Hydrogen. So it is how many atoms? 3. Minus any positive charge? No. Any negative charge? No. So 8 divided by 2 means 4. 4 means it is sp3. S and 3p. So sp3 hybridization. Fine. The structure or we say the geometry, regular geometry should be tetrahedral. Okay. So that is what I'm saying, that with using this method, we'll be able to identify the regular geometry. Now here, its regular geometry should be tetrahedral, meaning it should be this way, nitrogen but there are only 3 hydrogen atoms. So how we will get this geometry? We cannot identify the number of lone pairs present using this technique. For this, we will be using another method. So here we can just say that NH3 has steric number 4, so its regular geometry and its hybridization, we can predict the hybridization, right? It should be having sp3 hybridization. Let us take one more example, SF4. SF4, the steric number, if we calculate, half into the valence electrons present in sulfur. So sulfur atomic number is 16, so it is 2, 8, 6. So 6 valence electrons present, plus number of monovalent atoms present 4, SF4. So 4 plus 4 minus no cations plus no anions. So 10 divided by 2. So that is 5. So SF4, based on the steric number, we say it should be having 5. That means sp3d hybridization. sp3d hybridization meaning its geometry should be trigonal, bipyramidal, regular geometry. Okay, so this is based on the first trick. One more example, if we want, we can take the example of, say, CO2. If we take CO2, now here see, the steric number is equal to half into carbon atomic number 6, that is 2, 4. So valence electrons on central atom is 4, plus number of monovalent atoms attached. Oxygen is bivalent, so no monovalent atoms, minus 0, no cations, plus 0, no anions. So this is 4 divided by 2, so 2. That means its hybridization is sp and its regular geometry should be linear. And we get this linear geometry we get for CO2. It is this way because we don't consider the pi bonds for determining the structure of a molecule. Now let us take the second method, using which we'll be able to predict the shape also. So that means it will give us the number of bond pairs and the number of lone pairs present in the molecule. So here we will calculate the steric number, that is equal to n by 8, that is equal to q plus r by 2. This is quotient and this is remainder. See what is n here? N is the total number of valence electrons, present on all the atoms. So whatever molecule is given, we will be considering here the valence electrons on the central atom plus the atoms attached to it. So it will give us the total number of the valence electrons, plus if any negative charge is present, so plus the negative charge, number of negative charges. That means it is an extra electron present because it is a negative charge, SO3 minus 2. So minus 2 electrons are extra. So we have to add that 2 electrons minus the number of positive charges, right? In short, we need the total number of electrons that are present in the given molecule. That gives you the value of n, right? And important thing is this value of n will not be odd, right? It will not be an odd number. Total, if you get the total number of electrons when we add and we get total number, that is n, it will not be odd number. Next, what is q? Next, q is the number of sigma bond pairs. R is the remainder that we get, and this gives you the number of unshared electrons on central atom. That means if we divide it by 2, this gives you the lone pairs of electrons present on central atom. Lone pairs of electrons present on central atom. Okay, see, this is actually the method we can understand this way, that if we divide anything by 8, the number we divide by 8, right, whatever you get here is q and we get here is the remainder, right? Q gives you the bond pairs and R gives you the lone pairs. R divided by 2 gives you the lone pairs. This R gives you the total electrons that are unshared, and R divided by 2 gives you the lone pairs. We'll take the examples so you will be able to understand in a better way. So if we take the same examples, like say we have taken BF3. If we want to calculate using this method, we will be able to identify whether the lone pairs are present in the given molecule or not. So BF3 if we take, we require N first. What is N? Total number of electrons present on the whole molecule. So boron, atomic number 5. So it is 2 and 3. So electrons 3 plus fluorine atomic number 9. So it is 7. 7 how many times? 3 times. So the important thing is to calculate N, the total number of electrons present. So boron 3 plus 3 fluorine atoms, so 7. 21 plus 3, that is 24. Okay, first step, 24 divide by 8. See, this number when it is less than 8, we have to divide it by 2. And if it is more than 8, we have to divide by 8. So 24 divided by 8 gives you 3. Now 3 means it is sp2 hybridization. Okay, there is no any remainder here. There is only a quotient. It is this way. 8 number is 24. It gives only the quotient. Remainder is 0. So this is the number of bond pairs. So it is sp3 hybridization, and the geometry or shape is the same, that is trigonal planar. Let us take one more example which has the lone pair present. Say ammonia. Right, we had taken the example of ammonia. So ammonia, in this, the number of total electrons present, N, is equal to the number of electrons on the nitrogen atom. Nitrogen 5, hydrogen. Yes, one more thing here. For hydrogen, here the exception is about the hydrogen. For hydrogen, we will always consider the electron present to be 7. Okay, so this is 5 plus 3 into 7. So total electron pairs here we get 5 plus 7 into 3, that is 21 plus 5, so 26, sorry. So 26 on dividing by 8, we get 3s are 24. So we get here 2, right? So here we say 3 is the quotient, so 3 bond pairs, plus 2 is the remainder, and R, this is remainder, R by 2 is 1, so 1 lone pair. So here we get 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair, total 4. So 4 means sp3 hybridization. In sp3 hybridization, we have 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. So its geometry is not a regular one, it has a distorted geometry. That means this is the structure of the regular tetrahedron. Here 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 is the lone pair present, right? So using this technique, using this method, we'll be able to identify the number of lone pairs present in the given molecule, along with the identification of the hybridization and the geometry. Okay, let us take the examples. Let us take few more examples. XeF2. Now xenon is group 8 element. So total number of electrons, N, is equal to 8 plus fluorine 7. Valence electrons only we have to count. So 2 into 7, that means 14. So total number of electrons that we get is 14 plus 8. So 22. 22 divided by 8. We get, if we want, we can do that. 22. So we get 8 2s are 16 and 4 6, right? And 6 divided by 2, that is 3. So here we get 2 plus 3, 2 bond pairs, 3 lone pairs. Total will be 5. So hybridization will be sp3d. sp3d with distorted geometry. See, geometry will be this way. XeF2 trigonal bipyramidal, but it's because of the presence of these 3 lone pairs that will be present at the equatorial position. We get a linear geometry of XeF2, linear shape, right? Geometry is regular geometry, should be trigonal bipyramidal, but due to the presence of lone pair, its geometry will get distorted and its shape will be different. The shape we get is a linear shape. Okay, what I mean to say is here you can identify the total number of lone pairs present in a given molecule, so we get a distorted geometry or the shape will be different. If we take another example, ClO3 minus. So considering here the central atom Cl, N is equal to 7 plus total number of electrons present on oxygen, that is 6. 6 into 3 is 18, minus, if any charge is there, minus charge we have to add, if it is plus charge we have to subtract. So 7 plus 18 plus 1, total it is equal to 26, right? 26 divided by 8, so we get 8 3s are 24, 2, and 2 divided by 2, that is remainder will be 1. So 3 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. Here we get 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair, right? 3 plus 1, 3 plus 1 means 4, and it is again sp3 hybridization, but its shape will be a distorted one. Distorted geometry is obtained. It's not a regular tetrahedral geometry for ClO3 minus. So now we'll be calculating only the number of bond pairs and number of lone pairs, and based on that we can identify the type of the hybridization, and we can also predict whether it will be a regular geometry or a distorted one. Now SO3, if we take example, SO3 has N is equal to sulfur 16, so 6 plus oxygen 6, again 18, 24, right? So 24 divided by 8, we get 3. No lone pairs, so all 3 are bond pairs, and total number of electron pairs are also considered to be 3. So we say it is a regular geometry that we get based on the hybridization, sp2 hybridization, trigonal planar. CH3 plus, next one. N is 4 plus, yes, the exception. Hydrogen means we have to take 7. 7 3s are 21 plus 1, so minus 1. So this gives 21 minus 1, 20 plus 4, 24 again, divide by 8. So we get 3 bond pairs and the regular geometry again sp2 hybridization. One more example, XeO4, xenon tetraoxide. Xenon, number of valence electrons 8 plus 6 on oxygen, 6 4s are 24. So total is 32, divided by 8. 4 plus 0. 4 bond pairs, 0 lone pairs. So 4 means the hybridization will be sp3 hybridization. Geometry is regular because no lone pairs are present. Fine. One more example we will take, that is CO3 minus 2. Now in CO3 minus 2, the total number of valence electrons N is equal to, on carbon we have 4 plus oxygen, that means 6 into 3, 18, minus 2, so we add 2, so we get 24 again here. 24 divided by 8, that is 3, plus no remainder, so 3 plus 0. 3 plus 0 meaning CO3 minus 2 has sp2 hybridization, and geometry is a regular one because no lone pairs are present. So we can take number of examples and we can use any of the method. Say if you want to use both the methods, we can do that. Say SF4, right? SF4 if we take, using the first technique that predicts only the hybridization, right? What is that? Where we calculate the steric number, that is equal to half into V plus M minus C plus A. So this gives half into the number of valence electron on the central atom. So sulfur valence electrons 6 plus monovalent atoms attached 4 minus 0 plus no anions, so 0. So that is 6 plus 4 10 by 2, that is 5. 5 means the hybridization should be sp3d and the geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. Using the first method we have taken this. If we take the second method, we calculate total number of valence electrons. So total number of valence electron on the given molecule, all the atoms present. So sulfur, total number of electrons 6 plus fluorine 7 into 4, so 28, so that is 34 divided by 8. Okay, here we get two terms, one is bond pairs and another one is the lone pair, Q and R. So 34 divided by 8, we get 8 4s are 32 and remainder is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 4 plus 1, this way 8 and 34, we get 8 4s are 32, here we get 2 and 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 4 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. So total again we get 5. So hybridization is sp3d, but using this technique we can identify that it is made up of 4 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair. So its geometry will be a distorted one. It will be having a geometry of trigonal bipyramidal, but its shape will be different. It has a distorted geometry. Fine. So if you want to identify only the geometry, you can use first technique, and if you want to identify the shape or number of the lone pairs present, then you can use this method, second method. Okay, thank you.